Hi everyone, welcome back to our third Majors in Focus series. I've been having a great time learning about these degrees, and I'm super excited to be back with Professor Ginger Wickline to learn about two more of our degrees, Psychological Science and Applied Social Research.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here today. Hi, everybody.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I've been at Miami for 9 years now. I have a PhD in clinical psychology, although I do a lot with getting students involved in the community, working with some of our groups on campus, like our English as a second language students. So I am the degree coordinator for the Department of Social and Behavioral Sciences, and I'm also tenured through the psychology department at Oxford. So I'm in a really good place to help advise students with deciding what's the best fit for them in a social research degree, whether that's applied social research or ASO. Our psychological science major, which is our psychology degree that students can start and finish at our regional campuses, or the psychology degree. We have two psych degrees at Miami, which is a little confusing, that students can start at the regionals and finish at Oxford. So we're happy to be hosting, talking about two of those degrees that are regionally granted today.
Yeah, I am excited too. So remember, if you guys any questions, please comment below. We will have time to answer them during the video. We left off with the how the two majors are different. If you want to pick that back up with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we're about to look at the applied social research degree, which is a little bit more interdisciplinary. So when students do our applied social research degree, they're not only looking at how individuals do things, but they're looking at how systems do things and figuring out whether a business is working effectively, whether a nonprofit is meeting the needs of its constituents. So within the applied social research degree, there's a lot of data focus behind it, and we do that in psychology as well, mostly quantitative. The applied social research degree does some numbers analysis and also some qualitative review, where they're doing focus groups, asking people questions, doing some interviews. So you see much more of that focus in the interdisciplinary setting. And students are taking a variety of classes in the applied social research degree that aren't just one discipline. So they'll take some sociology classes, some geographical systems classes, Black World Studies, anthropology, sociology. So they're looking at human behavior from a number of different levels or angles instead of just from the level of the individual.
Great, that's so great. Thank you for clarifying that for me.
No problem.
So what would pursue a student to major in psychological science?
Well, we find that students who are drawn to psychology tend to come from a couple of different backgrounds. First, they're trying to understand themselves, their families, and why they do things, or the people that they know. So they tend to have a lot of curiosity about human behavior. And some people don't realize that psychological science and psychology also can be focused on other animal species. But we get a lot of students that want to focus on why people do things. I would say another significant portion of those individuals also want to help people. So they're driven, they see movies about therapists or people who are working with individuals with disorders or criminal minds, and they want to find out what makes people act unusually or abnormally, and they want to do something to help individuals who are under stress or have disorders. So while only about 15 or 20% of people in psychology actually go into the mental health field, right, helping people who are struggling, students tend to come in with that preconception that is the only thing you can do with a psychology degree. And what they don't realize is if you understand a lot about human behavior and how we make decisions, that psychology or psychological science is a degree that can lead you into 300 different fields and all be successful, because if you want to go into management, you have to know how to get along with people. If you want to go into law enforcement, it's good to know how to get along with people. If you want to go into law or medical school or research. So there's many different ways where a background in a psychological science degree can help students whether or not they want to become a psychologist when they finish their degree.
Oh, I did not know that. I love the statistic that you showed with us. So you talked a little bit about the classes in the beginning when you were talking about the two different majors. Can you maybe go into more detail on what type of classes a psychological science major would take?
Certainly. There's a core of 4 classes that all students have to take. Our Psych 111, which also has a 112 hour added onto it that gets them some experiential learning, either practice and research, doing some service learning in the community. And that's the foundation course that all majors take to expose them to the wide array of things we study in psychology. Then we ask students to take Statistics 261, and Psychology 293 and 294, which are our statistics and research methods sections. And students do that whether they take psychology or psych science. Our first 2 years are actually identical. So students that was done on purpose. So students could decide when they finish whether they want to take their upper level classes at the regionals, psych science, or in psychology at Oxford. But all students take that base of statistics and research methods to understand how to think better, more critically, and how scientists use numbers to answer questions. So the data and the numbers are a means to an end, right? Both of our degrees focus on science. Both of our degrees focus on logic and answering good questions. You can't be a therapist who just says, well, try this therapy. We don't know if it works or not, but good luck. You need to understand how we figure out what works, what doesn't, what are side effects, what are risks. And those are the things the statistics and research methods classes help prepare students to think well. We then have 5 areas that students have to take courses in. Social, developmental, individual, like personality or abnormal, the biopsychology, and then cognitive. Again, thoughts, behaviors, feelings, social angles, to look at all the ways that things influence what we do. And then students take upper level classes either in psych science and 300 and 400 level classes that are focused on specific topic areas, or if they're going to finish at Oxford, they take PSY courses, again, upper level classes where they get some choice. So they get that breadth and things that interest them a little more.
Yeah, thank you. I like how you talked about that they're both the same the first 2 years, and I think that that's really important for students to be able to decide which path they think will be best for them.
Absolutely. The 2 most common questions we get is psychological science more science, because it says science in the name? And it's not. We just weren't allowed to have 2 psychology degrees with the same name. They both do the same things. Similarly, students worry that if they come to a regional degree, it's going to be not as effective or not prepare them for jobs or graduate school. So sometimes they're like, well, but I want that Oxford degree. It's going to be, that's the only one that can get me into grad school. And that is so totally not true. We have a very good success rate so far with students who are about to graduate in psych science with getting accepted into grad school if that's where people want to go. And we've had very high hit rates at getting people placed in the field, because at the regionals we still have small classes available where people are really getting to know their professors, getting those recommendation letters that get them on to their next steps. So students should not worry about quality, whether they're finishing at the regionals or Oxford. They're both high quality degrees that will prepare them for their next steps.
Yes, that's great. So what kind of jobs would someone with a psychological science major look for?
There are a lot of possibilities. Some of it does depend on how much more schooling they want to go to. Like if somebody does want to be a counselor in private practice, there's actually 3 or 4 different ways to do that. As a psychologist, as a licensed professional counselor, as a licensed social worker. So master's degrees are going to be required for some things. If they want to go in just into research, if they want to be in private practice and working with clients, those require more training. But again, there are like 300 degrees that students could do right out of college with a psychology degree. And if anybody's interested, they could Google Drew Appleby psych job. And you'd get into a list of things that one of the gurus in our field, Dr. Appleby, has put together that has suggestions for students. Some of the ones we hear students talk about the most are things like a child development specialist. They tend to work in daycares and preschool centers to work with young children. Child life specialist that tends to help work with children in hospital settings to help them calm down and understand the medical procedures. Substance abuse technician. We have quite a few students right now who are volunteering on the hotline at Sojourner Recovery Services, or doing intakes for them and working towards their certification as a chemical dependency counselor assistant, which you can actually do with a high school degree and specified training in psychology. And then the associate's degree or bachelor's degree helps to move up in that field. Market research, department manager, human resources, social and community service managers. Literally any job that you can imagine needing to work and get along with people, a background in psych science could help prepare you for.
Great. So now we're going to shift over to our second degree that we were going to talk about, which is applied social research. So when I think of the word applied, I think of a hands-on experience. So how is the applied social research major an applied degree?
Excellent question. One of the key things about the applied social research degree is the requirement to have 4 to 6 hours of either an internship or independent study, which we recommend students do in their junior or senior year after they've got a little bit of experience perhaps as a volunteer. It's one of those degrees that doesn't come quite as straightforward as psychology. Everybody hears psychology and thinks they know what it means, although there's usually a lot more to it. But with applied social research, they could use that understanding about data and answering questions and helping businesses be more effective and people do what they need to do in a variety of settings. So it's really crucial for our majors to get out and have an independent study or internship with a research center, on a hotline, in partnership with local service providers that are doing work for individuals in the community to help their quality of life, right, and assessing whether that's working. So that's one of the key foundations of that applied social research degree. We actually encourage the same kind of thing in psychology and psychological science as well.
Okay.
In most majors that I know of, employers aren't looking to hire you if you took a test or read a book on a subject. I mean, imagine hiring a babysitter who said, I love kids, I took this test once and I got an A on it.
Yeah.
They don't care. They care that you've had experience working with people, that you can get along in a team, that you can solve problems, that you can work independently, that you can strategize when issues come up. And those are things that the applied social research degree and the psych science degree would help prepare students for.
That's great. I think preparing students for whatever they wish to do with their majors is so important.
Absolutely.
So, what type of classes would an applied social research major take?
Good question. So we have a couple of foundation courses. There are 3 classes in applied social research at the 200, 300, and 400 level that students take so they get background with a variety of data analytic procedures.
Okay.
Quantitative things and computer programs that help you crunch numbers, qualitative research so you can do focus groups and interviews. So those are 3 core courses. We also require another statistics class and several sociology classes in research methods. So it's kind of a method-heavy thing. We want people to be able to go out and answer questions in a variety of different ways. So those are the things that all applied social research majors do.
Okay.
They then take 2 classes that help prepare them for a diverse and global economy. So they have a host of classes they can take that help them think about themselves as a person with culture and how they interact with culturally different others. So those classes are in anthropology, Black World Studies, geography, political science, soc, and psych. And they can pick 2 from that list so that they're broadening their horizons and understanding how they fit in an ever-changing world.
Yes.
And then they take 15 hours with 9 hours at the 300 or 400 levels in a variety of our social science classes. Again, anthropology, Black World Studies, computer and information technology, English and technical writing, geography, psychology, sociology, political science.
Hi, welcome back. We're so sorry that we lost connection with you guys, but we're going to pick back up with Dr. Wickline, and we're going to jump to our next question with her on applied social research, which is, what kind of jobs would someone with this major look for?
The key thing with applied social research in helping businesses or organizations answer questions is that there's going to be a lot of data-driven things that students do. So some of the areas that we would see students with this major go into could be individual and family services. Again, think about foster care and whether they're taking care of their families, or an institution that works with people with disabilities and are they meeting the needs of those individuals, so they could help them figure out if they're doing their job effectively. Social services work, healthcare and support. People had background with a little bit of medical terminology and took some of our health and information tech classes, combine that with applied social research. They do well to do inputting medical records or looking through medical records to see if they're effectively working with certain kinds of clients. Market research, business and industry look all the time for what's selling and how to better reach their constituents. So a lot of our individuals could go into human resources, into marketing for corporate America and help them be more effective at distributing their product. Geographic and information sciences, which is one of the things I think is really cool. If students learn the mapping technology, they could actually help local organizations find out how to better reach their people or provide more resources. So for example, some of our global information sciences students last year worked with the Butler County Board of Developmental Disabilities to put together a map in our community so parents could know, if my child has a disability, where can I go for various kinds of service? Where are the churches that have, ramps and disability-friendly classes? Where are the medical providers who specialize in talking or working with someone with disabilities? Where are the summer camps? Where are the job opportunities? Where's the employment? Where's the help me grow for young children. So that kind of mapping technique can really help a community know how to make the most of the things that are already out there and connect in a new way.
Awesome.
So that's one that we think is really kind of cutting edge in helping students to understand the world in a new way.
Yeah.
So in lots of these places, again, whether it's for-profit or non-profit, they're going to be going into a business or organization and saying, what do you need to know? How can we help you get that information?
That's great. It sounds like there's a lot of different options for students, which is really nice. So what would you say are the most common misconceptions about both of these majors?
Interesting. I think we've addressed it with psychological science, that somehow students think it's more sciencey than the other psychology major we have at Miami, when both of them focus on that. Students in psychology sometimes think it's a lot of art and criminal minds and having people lie down on couches, and that's a small part of what we do, but we want to help expose them to the many ways that psychologists help improve our quality of life. The thing about applied social research is I think students don't sometimes understand how much analysis is involved in that.
Yes.
And they have to not only have the curiosity, but the willingness to have the rigor and precision to answer questions well.
Okay.
So that's one that both of our degrees take a little bit of detail-oriented people. And conscientiousness is good, curiosity is good. But I'd say that what we find is usually people don't know what applied social research is, and they come in going, well, tell me what that looks like. And then with psychology, they think they know what it is and don't realize how much more there is that's available to them.
That's great. I think that you clarified a lot of those questions for me today, which was really awesome. So thank you so much for meeting with me and answering my questions today.
My pleasure.
Next week, we will be back on Tuesday at 11 a.m. with Janet Marshall to discuss our forensic